Ahmad's audacious bid to dethrone Issa Hayatou as CAF president was boosted by the unanimous endorsement of all 14 members of the Council of Southern African Football Associations, COSAFA. The decision of COSAFA to back Ahmad put the region at loggerheads with the long-standing president. Hayatou viewed COSAFA's decision as a serious sign of dissent. But with FIFA President Gianni Infantino's support for Ahmad's bid, the end looked near for Hayatou. At the end of the drama, the 57-year-old Ahmad won 34 of the 54 votes to become the 7th CAF president in the body's 60-year history. The Ahmad revolution swept through the polls with the emergence of new members into the executive committee. Nigeria's Amanju Pinnick, South Africa's Danny Jordan, Liberia's Musa Bility, Sierra Leone's Isha Johansson, Suleiman Waberi of Djibouti and Fouzi Lekia of Morocco got on board.
It means that we are open to change. It means that we're open to positive change. It means that now all the areas that maybe people were not so very happy with. I mean, put it this way, with a change comes new possibilities and new openings. You only come about a change if you're not happy with the current situation. So whatever was there that was not helping the African nation, if you like, through football, we can actually take a look at that.
Ahmad's first job would be to introduce a new code of ethics, and he has pledged to extend ethics checks on African football officials.
So that report on how Ahmad emerged the new president of the Confederation of African Football, and also Nigeria's NFF president Amanju Pinnick making it to the executive committee. Sports tonight on Channels 3. We invite you to be part of this segment. Now, as we take a look at football in Nigeria, particularly current issues that affects our football. Amanju Pinnick is the president of the Nigeria Football Federation. Joins us now live in the studio. Good to have you on the show, President.
Always a pleasure coming to Channels TV.
Good to have you around. Nigeria's energy solutions company, the Aiteo Group, they have signed a 5-year partnership agreement with the Nigeria Football Federation. We've heard all sort of figures. Mr. Pinnick, break down the details of that deal for us.
Well, what we did with that deal was possibly looking at there's a dollar component and there's a naira component.
Okay.
But of course, Nigeria is a naira economy, so we have to look at putting everything in naira, and also took into cognizance the coaches, the chief coach of the Super Eagles, Salisu, the goalkeepers trainer, the other coaches, even the Super Falcons and the other league, Those are the things that we had to put together, and it was quite tough putting them together, because we had the chairman marketing and sponsorship had to work with financial derivatives, our financial consultant, and also with PwC auditors in making sure that we have a perfect arrangement, and of course Aiteo Mustafa, the senior advocate of Nigeria, on the part of Aiteo, and also a world-class lawyer, and their part Andrew Anyaro.
Okay. So
it was something really, they didn't just say, oh, we want to have, we've been on this for a very long time, it started like 3 months ago, and during my campaign, and when I visited some countries, especially those oil producing countries, and then kept coming up, Aiteo, and that the leadership of this organization are very enthusiastic about football. And they happen to come from Nigeria. And one of the countries even told me that they had offered him to come and take over their national team, take over their league and all that. So, I mean, I just took it, and when I came back, I did my own research. I found out who the real owners of these companies were. Then I had to enlist the support of Aiteo Mustafa, who happens to know this company. And the rest is history. We had to travel to so many countries. We had meetings in various. Now it was only myself, the chairman, marketing and sponsorship, and also this first vice president. We put them in the picture because we've had situations like this in the past. Just when it's about to click, then to go. So we need to total privacy and secrecy. We kept it to ourselves and made sure that we wanted to.
And we like the fact that it has come out now. But break down figures for me. What's the total package? What does the NFF get every year, and how are you going to spend it?
The NFF gets about it gets 500 million naira. But like I told you, there's a yearly. There's a dollar component and there's naira component. What we try to do is that we didn't just think of ourselves. We thought beyond ourselves. You know, we said, okay, let us do something on 5 years. Okay. It was very difficult convincing them to do 5 years. You know, so they had to put in a lot of provisos, a lot of clauses. But I said no, because if you look at Ganatrao as a coach, what he has been able to achieve in 6 months, if you give him 5 years, he'll be able to achieve 10 times more. You know, okay. So based on that, we decided to do something that is our dream, a culture of sustainable football development, whereby if we give him a 5 years contract, you can imagine going to the leagues 10 days. You know, loads of players from the league. Nigeria, you know, you cannot imagine the talent. I was there in your lounge watching the league, the junior league, and quite impressive. So if you imagine a player that is 15 today and you have a 5 year contract with the coach, that player can be nurtured to greatness, you know. And that's exactly the dream of the Nigerian Football Federation. And you could recall that this is not just a dream of today, you know. When we got elected, our dream was to go into Nigerian corporates and let them into Nigerian football. That's right. But because of the distractions occasioned by court cases, in fact, the day we were meant to have a major breakthrough in Nigerian football, an evening with corporate Nigeria, that was the day a court in Jos annulled our election. And 80% of people that were meant to come for that event didn't come. The few that came, we got 3 sponsors from there. So you can imagine, even Aiteo, they told us that they were meant to come, but they heard about this, so they didn't come. So you can imagine the number of companies that would have shown up by now Nigerian football, but God knows best, you know, why we are starting strong and starting now, you know, and by the God's grace, we didn't just start in a very peripheral form. We start in a very, I think in the history of Nigerian football, this is very huge.
Very, I must admit, 2.5 billion for 5 years. Yes. I must emphasize that. 2.5 billion naira for 5 years. Mr. Pinnick, how much relief does that bring to the never-ending funding problems of football in Nigeria?
Yeah, because you see, that's a very critical sector, give and take, you know, a critical sector of, because if your coach is happy, if he's motivated, if he doesn't have distraction, you know, you want to give it his best in the enterprise of coaching. And that's what we decided to do, making him very happy. Now, not just him, the technical crew. We didn't just say we limit it to a foreign technical advisor. We said no. Everybody.
On social media, a lot of questions, but one that is very important says, how can we ensure accountability with this sponsorship deal?
Yeah, first, I would say straight away that the deal, the funds, they're not coming directly to the Nigerian Football Federation. It was structured that way deliberately because, you know, it is in line with the new thinking in fiscal discipline, you know, by FIFA, by CAF, you know. At the moment, I'm going through a program in compliance as a member of the organizing committee of FIFA competitions, you know, and part of it is try as much as possible to get your hands off funding while you allow service provider to do the services for you. What you do is just to superintend the activities, and that's why the money will be warehoused, is there in the contract with our financial consultants.
So when we have questions, we'll go to them.
Yeah, no, financial derivatives, they warehouse the money. Then through the consultant, they also appointed a consultant. You know, they write to the consultant write, oh, the coach's salary is X, Y, Z, this is it. And the financial derivatives receives it and send it to PwC. Our financial auditors look at it and say, yes, this is properly well with the contracts of the coaches. Okay. So you can see the processes is global, you know, best practices globally. So it's not just to say, we are going there, we can go to financial, of course, you know, financial derivatives and PwC. These are companies that their image is so tall, I cannot even hold it. These are companies that, untainted image, and you cannot tell them what to do. They do what's in the book, and that's it. And we are very happy about that. So that's a very critical area that we've been able to take care of. And it's a strategy that we came up. Myself, Shehu, and she, we sat and say, okay, how do we do this? Let us strategize. That's the critical aspect we've taken out. What's the other critical aspect? Players' bonuses and match their situations. And what are the match day situations? For example, we have a budget. We are going to take out from the budget match day situations and players' bonuses. Match day situations, what are the match day situations? For example, we are playing a game, how much will it cost us to play the game? What are the bonuses? What are the players, FA, to and fro? We put it together for a year. Now we can call that an optimum partner in terms of match day, and give it to a company. That's what we are doing right now. We're also looking at another company that will take care of the Federation's Cup. You know, we are working seriously about that, because by God's grace, we're not going to play this Federations Cup this year without a sponsor. We are working religiously about that. And we're also looking at, because that's the way of giving companies a lot of confidence that their money will go to the right places. It's the same strategy, it's the same application. I believe one of my friends, one of my colleagues called today and said, wow, this is really good. I think this is what we should be doing, because it's not just Nigeria. Most federations in Africa, they have problems of, you know, wanting to trust, problems of trust. Companies, will you trust them? Can we? So listen, we are going to just show you what to do. Get a financial consultant, we have the money, and let it go through the process with your auditors while the money is going out and coming in. So at the end of the day, everything is properly audited for the world to see. And that is the strategy we are applying. At the end of the day, if you have a budget of 6 billion, if you take out all these critical segments and have each of them sponsored, even the under 17, the under 20, you have each of them, what is their budget? From qualification or from recruitment to the final stage. This for a year, this is it. You sit down with the company and say, okay, look at those companies that have sympathy for children. You can go to Pick-Me, you can go to Milo, you can go to all those, and look at it. What is your budget for the year? That is the method we apply. So I must give kudos to Shehu Diko, the chairman of the league. He said, President, this is the way. And of course, the first vice president, she said, okay, let us look at, and that is it. So we have come out with a new method. Our approach is basically how to segment, isolate, so pretend, but give it to a service provider to say, this is what you should be doing, while we should pretend the activities. With that, if I have my way, I don't want a cover to come to the Nigerian Football Federation directly. You know, it's more or less cashless. When I go for my meetings in FIFA, when they want to do remuneration, they don't even talk to you. They just give you a form to fill, and you fill and you leave. And that is it. No matter how much you are going to earn, you know, so the money definitely is not going to come to us, and we are very happy about that. We are very satisfied with that, and it goes to that area. So when we now think of the other sectors, the other critical sectors, and that's it. So people will know that there's a lot of transparency, probity, and accountability in what we are doing. So to my brother, please just be rest assured that, you know, though we started a bit late in terms of Nigeria, which is of course, again, principal is not fault of us, is the distractions. As I speak to you, we are still in court. We're still in Supreme Court, as I tell you. The LMC, the league, they've been in and out of court. So those are major distractions, and those are things sponsors do not want to hear. But we've been able to say yes. Are we going to just weigh ourselves down because of these issues? But of course, naturally to weigh us down, but we are still working.